Hello everyone, it's Mana. These days, I've been talking about Japanese women, what I like, how we think, and sharing my personal thoughts along with stories from people around me. But let's be real, not everyone is perfect, just like anyone else. There are people you might want to be cautious around. But the tricky part is, you usually can't spot those traits right away. In the beginning, everything might seem totally fine, but over time, those red flags start to show, and by the time you realize it, you are already been in too deep. So today, I'm gonna share 7 types of Japanese women you might wanna be careful with. By knowing these red flags, you will be able to spot potential issues early on. And honestly, these insights can help you make better decisions in your relationships, even if the person you are dating isn't Japanese. Just a quick heads up, this isn't about bashing anyone or complaining. It's simply about helping you avoid getting involved with someone who might have toxic habits or problematic behavior. Alright, let's get into it. The first type of woman to watch out for is one who always seems like she needs to be saved. You probably already know where this is going. She always looks like life is just so hard for her, and at first you might feel like you want to help. I mean, it's natural to want to support someone who's struggling, right? But here's the thing. This doesn't mean you should throw money at her problems just to make her feel better. And no, I'm not saying don't help at all. I'm saying be smart about how you help. In Japan, this kind of situation happens more than you think. Sometimes what starts out as simple kindness turns into a scam or even something way more dangerous. These so-called unlucky women, but a lot of the time, they are not unlucky. They are just avoiding effort or looking for an easy way out. They rely on others to rescue them instead of working on their own independence. So the best thing you can do, if you can create the chances for her to grow, encourage her to stand on her own 2 feet, but don't waste your time, energy, money on someone who isn't even trying, and pay attention to her energy and ask her, does she feel fulfilled in her life? The second type to watch out for is the manipulative type. This kind of woman exists in Japan, and surprisingly, she might actually make a great first impression. She can seem reliable, confident, and even powerful at first. But the problem starts when her strong personality turns into manipulation. Over time, she might try to control you or make you feel overwhelmed. At first, you thought she was dependable and confident, but little by little, she starts becoming selfish and difficult. She might even complain about you all the time. That's much a red flag, so be careful with this type. Let's move on to the third type, someone who lives in their own dream world. What I mean by that? Well, this type has a super specific ideal partner in mind, like someone who acts and looks like a movie star or the main character in a fantasy world. They are usually the ones obsessing over the pop idols, waiting outside venues, buying loads of merch, or fully diving into their favorite celebs world, and their conversation pretty much always about the star. If you are dating someone like this, it can start to feel like you are just a background character in their fantasy story. You might feel like you can't keep up with her values, or you will start questioning how she spends her time and money. So pay attention to where her focus really is. Is she living in the real world or stuck in the fantasy? So the fourth type is the chronic complainer. At first, she might be interesting, maybe even smart or fun to talk to. A little bit of sarcasm or wit can make conversation exciting, right? But over time, you start to notice she's always complaining. Nothing is good enough. The environment, the people around her, the food at the restaurant, and eventually, suddenly your actions, your habits, even something as small as a cup of coffee becomes a problem. Personally, I love people who are good at joking and make others laugh. That kind of energy lifts everyone up. But constant complainers, they just bring mood down and make people feel uncomfortable. You will never feel relaxed because no matter what you do, there's always something to complain about. It can be a deal breaker. The fifth type is the liar. This type tends to lie without even realizing it. The lies come out so naturally that it can be hard to tell at first, but over time, it becomes a real problem. And honestly, this isn't just about women. You can see this in men too, especially those who lack confidence or feel the need to make themselves look bigger or better than they really are. But deep down, they are often just insecure and afraid. The good news, you can usually spot this type pretty easy once you know how to look for. Actually, I had a woman like this join our team at work once. When she first came in, she talked a lot about how well she knew the chef's job, like she had all the experience and confidence. Honestly, I thought, wow, she's gonna be a great fit. But the moment she started working, it was clear. She couldn't really do anything she said she could. Her words and actions didn't match at all. And every time something went wrong, she had some excuse ready. That's when I realized she wasn't being honest, not even with herself. So if you meet someone like this, try to remind them, you're already great. You don't need to pretend to be perfect. But if you notice that her behavior does not change and she keeps lying and making excuses, then it's important to give yourself some space. The sixth type is someone with super traditional parents. You might have heard this old Japanese saying, if you marry someone, you are also marrying their parents. Sounds intense, right? Well, in Japan, it's kind of true, and honestly, it can be super scary. There are actually cases where so-called monster parents becomes a big reason couples fight or even divorce. They get overly involved, have outdated expectations, or just don't respect boundaries. So if you have a Japanese girlfriend, definitely check what her relationship with her parents is like. And finally, the last one is my most personal piece of advice. Don't judge a book by its cover. Don't choose a Japanese woman just because she's pretty, young, or seems elegant on the outside. Looks can be really deceiving, especially with the younger generation. Many Japanese people honestly can be a bit more immature compared to the other countries, and to be real, most Japanese women aren't very independent, both mentally and financially. It's not entirely their fault. It comes from our culture. Many girls are raised being treated like princesses by their parents, so some of them grown up without learning how to take care of themselves. They might look like adults, but inside, they are not emotionally mature yet. So that's why it's important to see her true self early on. But here's something important to add. Japan has a really intense work culture. In certain workplaces, like the restaurant industry, the physical demands can be really tough, especially for women. I used to get sick even when I was young because of overworking, and during those times, my mom was the one who supported me a lot. Yeah, not all Japanese women are spoiled or dependent just because they want support. That kind of things a lot in Japan. So when you choose a Japanese girlfriend, remember what the little princess said, that beautiful book from France. What is sensational is invisible to the eye. I love that quote, and I think it's so true. So what matters most isn't how someone looks, but who they are inside. I hope this video helps you make better choices and lead you to a healthy, happy relationships, whether it's a Japanese woman or anyone else. Thank you so much for watching my video. Until then, I would be happy if you hit subscribe button. See you in the next video. Bye!